Well, Rob, not a huge amount to talk about in that first half, but a bit of stalemate between the two sides until probably the last 5 minutes, really. And we talked a little bit about Paciencia before that last 5 minutes. Yeah. We're kind of talking about how much of an influence he could have because of the pace and the assets he has got, but we didn't see enough of it until that last 5 minutes.
No, absolutely. You mean Paciencia's asset is pace. You know what I mean, he's got raw pace. You know what I mean, what he lacks in technical ability, pace more than makes up for it. And there was one instance when he actually, the Millwall guy on the left-hand side tried to hit the diagonal over to the right-hand, the winger. Paciencia's got intercepted the pass there, and basically that was open. That was just open. So you tell me you're a winger, Hux will probably tell me in a minute. If you saw that space, 30, 40 yard space, and you know the person that was going to engage you first was the right-hand side centre half, you'd be licking your lips. Yeah. To be fair, what he does, he doesn't do that. He avoids that. He'll have a touch, he'll turn out, and I think he passed it to one of the centre halves in the end, enabling Millwall, all of Millwall's outfield players to get behind the ball. That's what my point is in that initial 40 minutes of that half. That's what wasn't happening. If they got opportunities, you've got to take these opportunities, because Millwall, on the whole, are defending really well as a unit. They're trying to get behind the ball, but they are carrying some threat going forward, apart from when they get to the last third. But when you get a player like that who's got raw pace, and like you say, the first person to engage him would be the centre half, you should be licking your lips. But the last 5 minutes, he got into areas in the offensive.
Is that because they were more advanced areas where he's picking up here and he's a bit reluctant to do it in case he loses the ball in the defensive area? Is he wanting to do it up here so he thinks back there? I know what I would do.
Exactly.
The space in front of me, I'll be running at the defender, because you want to give them something to think about, but also give them something to think about in the future, as if, something different, vary your game a little bit. But he wants to do it up here, but he's a bit reluctant to do it defensively. Is that just a little bit of fear?
But listen, I'm saying for all the negativity, he's done really well because he got in a good position. He's disciplined. He got back as a unit, as he should do. But when you get it, do it. Did he not do it because he is so quick? Other teammates can get up there. You wouldn't think of that. You'd be going. Darren would be going. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this on my own. You know what I mean? But like I say, he's got to do it. And in that last few minutes there, he got balls up. You know what I mean? Because Norwich were pressuring in the end. You know what I mean? They were putting Millwall under pressure, and they were winning balls in this area here, and they were getting out to it. And he got balls in this areas here, and he showed with the shot against the post. He has got the ability. But back yourself as a winger with pace to take an opponent on. And if you go to pass him, you could be through on goal.
Yeah, well, let's get a view of another pacey winger I think he's just about thawed out on the gantry. He's still alive. He seems to be okay at the moment. But we're talking about Paciencia there and saying the assets, the raw assets he has got. Does he use them enough in vital areas?
Well, watching it, you wouldn't even know he is quick. Like Rob said, a couple of times, he's got 50 yards of space to run into. Like you, Jockey, same as me. When I first got the ball, my first thought was, can I put the fear of God into the fullback? Especially the right side centre half, who's going to be bigger and slow. He's got to be a bit more positive. That's all. You can't tell how quick he is, which is strange for someone who is quick and as a winger. He's got to be a bit more positive in his actions when he's on the ball, I think.
I said to Rob as well, is that because he's picking those ball up sometimes defensive areas and he's a bit reluctant to go from there? Does he want the ball in the attacking half to be able to go and do that?
He seems like a winger who is better when he hasn't got the ball, if that makes sense, where he's making runs off people to try and get in the forward position instead of getting the ball, getting one-on-one and try and beating the fullbacks. So I haven't been disappointed, but I was expecting a little bit more from him. People say he's the quickest thing you've ever seen, but watching that, you can't really tell, because I don't think he gets people in one-on-one situations where he can show people what he can do.
Which is a strange one for him, isn't it? Because he has got Sorensen playing behind him, who's probably going to be very more defensive than Quintilla when he's playing at the left-back position. So he's got someone behind him who will defend for him, allowing him to be able to get that space. And that's probably why they're both playing at the moment in the side, is because they balance each other off quite well. But he's not really given... Sorensen's pushing up quite high at times without really delivering anything from the left-hand side, because he's generally more right-footed, which then leaves Paciencia nowhere really to work in. But is that because Paciencia's not doing enough going forward at the moment?
I don't know. He just don't look positive when he's got the ball, especially when he can get at people. If you're one-on-one, you did it every time you got the ball, Jockey, same as I did. Your first thought is, can I direct? Can I make something happen? Can I beat my full-back or right side centre-half? And in a minute, he just seems a bit tentative, like turning back, playing the easy ball. Rupp and people like that can do the simple ball. His job is to get at people, get crosses in the box, and make things happen.
Because when he has done it, he has the shot on goal and he hits the post. He had a shot earlier on from distance as well. And then he whipped in another decent ball just before half-time as well with a great delivery. So, we know he can do it, but it's just doing more of it, I presume.
Yeah, like I say, he's had 2 shots. One of them hit the post. One of them obviously went 20 yards over the bar. And he's put 2 half-decent balls in the box. But in 45 minutes, in a team that's probably had 70% possession, is that enough from one of your attacking wide men? Probably not.
And looking at the way they've played so far at the moment, Norwich, they haven't created a huge amount of... is it a case of 1 or 2 of those players, as attacking players, grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and making something happen? Because otherwise this is one of those games just going to peter out, isn't it? Or is it going to end up being like games we've seen already this season, where it looks like it's going to be a 0-0 and Norwich come up with some winner near the end of the game?
Yeah, I think, Emmy's probably been a little bit frustrating today. He's gave the ball away a few times in the final third. He's trying, but it's just not working for him. But the positive is that Millwall haven't created anything, to be honest with you. Their outlet is Romeo on the right-hand side, but he's only put a couple of balls in. But, they've not really created anything. So, there's still a few positives, but, it's a game that we should really be winning. And like I say, second half, if we just pick up the tempo a little bit and give our forward players a little bit more time, I'm sure we can score goals.
Yeah, well, Hux, thanks for joining us again. We'll hopefully speak to you at the end of the game, but you wrapped up warm, mate. You look a bit cold, mate.
I'm toasted.
Look, we've pretty much covered it again with Paciencia, and he's mentioned Buendia a little bit there as well about how he hasn't really... We've seen the other side of Buendia tonight. Stiepermann's quite within his rights, getting in this area to have a shot from just outside the box, and we see Buendia arms up in the air, flinging them up in the air. If you're Stiepermann, I'm not happy with that. Are you?
No, because at the end of the day, Stiepermann's taking it upon himself to have a shot on goal. We've said every game, if you don't shoot, you ain't going to score. Yeah. So, Stiepermann with poor technique because he went over the bar. Just before the end, Buendia's exactly the same position, has done exactly the same. I never see no motions from Stiepermann, but that's what Emi Buendia is all about. He just wants a little intricate passing and whatever. If someone shoots it, in his eyes, he's giving the ball away needlessly. But to be fair to Stiepermann, a couple of times he's got the ball quite deep in his areas. He has tried first-time balls in the spaces which have just not come off. So, he is trying to get those balls in what he provided on Saturday. But again, fairness to Millwall, as a 3, they're out of possession. They're getting nice and narrow. They're getting plenty of men behind the ball quick. And as Hux has just said, they're not creating anything in an offensive mode. So Norwich have to be aware of that because they could do. But at the moment, there's only one team that's going to score this in this game, and it's not Millwall.
Yeah, and is that credit to Millwall's defence that they are doing as well as they have done and why they've done so far this season? Because the 2 of their players are in the team of the month, the Championship team of the month, and you can see why. They're very organised, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got 3 big, strong centre-halves there. Like I'm saying, and out of possession, they expand, and then when Norwich have got the ball, they come together, and they're really difficult to penetrate with passes through. You've got 2 hard-working wing-backs as well that make it 5 out of possession. And like I say, it's very difficult, but Norwich have faced that every single home game this season. So they've got to keep patient, but they've got to, and like I say, they've got to be more aggressive with their offensive play if they get situations like that. Going back to the point that we made first, if I was a right-sided centre-half and Paciencia was running at me, I'd be panicking. Great for the right-sided centre-half when he stops and passes it sideways, because I know that's giving all my teammates time to get in and around me.
Yeah, but is that the case then? Is it takes someone like you've said and Hux has said and Dean Ashton said, there's some quality in this Norwich side, there's some real ability in this side. It's up to them to make something happen. And that sounds an easy thing to say when we're sat here watching it, make something happen. But with the quality they've got, should they be doing more? Should Paciencia be taking it on himself to be a bit more offensive and do something?
If Paciencia takes it on himself, that probably brings 2 Millwall players out there. It's 3 sometimes as well. So you're taking 3 players out of the equation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like say,
it's a space for everyone else.
Skip can't do what he can do. Rupp can't do. Probably Pookie can't, or Stiepermann or Buendia can't do what Paciencia does. Paciencia, raw pace. you know, Darren knows, and whatever, like out wide, it takes sometimes 2, sometimes 3 to stop you. That gives space, creates space to other players in the team, like a Steeperman, like a Buendia, who he just stops the ball, 3 players around him, plays it in there, then all of a sudden they look up and there's more spaces.
Yeah.
There's more spaces.
Hopefully get some more goals, and we've seen some good ones this month.
Yeah.
And here is the Goal of the Month competition.
Kashket, who gets tackled by Hanley, and then Cantwell picks up possession, gives it to Buendia, who has threaded it through to Pukki. Pukki into the penalty area, good chance for Norwich early on, and Pukki takes it! Inside 3 minutes, Norwich have the lead, and that is vintage Teemu Pukki. A through ball, he races onto it, gets past the last defender. It's a composed finish, and it's Norwich City 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0, and it's Teemu Pukki on the score sheet. It's 1-1, but it's a chance here for Norwich City. Free kick. Buendia and Vrancic over it. It is going to be Mario Vrancic who curls it beautifully into the top corner! Mario Vrancic, for the second time in the space of a few days, has put Norwich in front late in the game at Carrow Road. It's absolute heartbreak for Wycombe Wanderers. They've got into the 90th minute of this game at 1-1 with Norwich City, but Mario Vrancic has just beautifully curled a free kick into the top corner, and no wonder his teammates are leading the applause. Norwich 2, Wycombe 1. What a free kick that is. He's got options up in front of him here, Marco Steeperman, and he tries to push in Paqueta on the right-hand side. Comes infield here. He's halfway inside the Bristol City half. To Rupp, now it's on to Steeperman, and there's space opening up for Steeperman here, halfway inside the Bristol City half. He tries to thread it through to Pukki. He's found him, yes. And Pukki scores! That is a lovely goal from Teemu Pukki. Brilliant pass from Marco Steeperman, brought into the team today. He managed to thread that ball through the eye of a needle. Pukki takes a touch and then finishes brilliantly. And in the 7th minute, it's Bristol City 0, Norwich City 1. Ball from Gibson into the penalty area. Buendia controls brilliantly, and he scored! What a finish from Emi Buendia! That's a high ball forward from Ben Gibson. Buendia in the penalty area, plucks the ball out of the air superbly, and then finishes with composure, and Norwich get a third before half-time. It's Bristol City 1, Norwich City 3.
Well, they're the contenders. You go to the Norwich City Twitter feed to vote for your winner for Goal of the Month. I mean, some good ones there, Rob.
Yeah.
What were you voting for if you're in that one?
For me,
I know which one I'd be.
For me it's Emi Buendia's one. You know what I mean, like I see, I know Chris said it was a high ball. It was a good pass from Ben Gibson. You know what I mean, like I say, but the 2 touches and the finish were really, really good.
And looking at those goals from Bristol City, we've seen 2 or 3 of them, they're Pukki as well. We've not seen enough of those forward passes tonight at right times. Is that because Millwall were dropping off a little bit deeper and shutting those gaps off, perhaps?
Yes, and also the hesitancy of Norwich players to play them forward balls. Like you mean, like well the VT was going there. I said, like, how many of those passes, like they were having 1, 2, maximum 3 touches before they were passing the ball. Sometimes tonight they've been having 4, 5, 6, and then all of a sudden the opportunity just vanishes. If the opportunity is going to be there, it's going to be there for like a second. At least. So you've got to have no more than 1, 2, 3 at the tops before that pass goes, because if it doesn't, there's no option for the pass.
Yeah, no, and you know, we want goals tonight, and if there's something that stinks of goals in this studio, it is this top. This is Teemu Pukki's training top or warm-up top, I think it is. He's going to sign it, and it's match or worn by himself. So a competition for you to enter to win that of Teemu Pukki's. It's on the screen now. You can name the City player who scored the 90+2 minute equaliser before Teemu Pukki's 90+7 minute winner against Millwall in 2018. If you know the answer to that, make sure you tweet to the Norwich City, it's the Norwich City Twitter feed, and make sure you copy an NR1 Live, hashtag NR1 Live with your answers. And you can be the proud owner of this worn top by Teemu Pukki. Fantastic. Would you like to win that, Rob? Fit you?
Yep.
Make them your size. Let's have a look. Large. Be all right for you?
Yeah, I was born large.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, the team's come back out for the second half. Do you see the same approach, Norwich? Wait for something to happen, or is it going to be, an instruction to try and force something to happen?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same approach to start with, because Millwall didn't look as though they were going to score. So as a manager, you're thinking, well, we're under no real threat defensively, so let's keep playing, let's keep prodding. Hopefully the last 5 minutes of that half suggested that Norwich can get a goal. So if they come in, start the second half in the same manner, then fingers crossed we'll get a goal.
And we've been in this position before, haven't we?
Yes.
And we've seen late goals for Norwich City, and I hope that will come again. And make sure you join us at the end of the game, where you can hopefully win this. We'll announce the winner at the end of the game. See you after then.
Swimming at night, she's been calling on me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she's been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right, can't forget what you said. When you finish with you, babe, you should come and find me in the Sea of Cortez. No way, no.